Hello everyone, what's happening? This is Forgo, and today we're going to test some set cards on Nameless. We're going to see just how much of a difference there is between three specific card sets on this guy. So let's jump into Epic Quest, and we'll go against False Orochi here, and we'll take on False Yashiro. So we're going to use Nameless in the leadership role. That's going to give him this increased Nest Fighter attack by 40%, self-buffing 40%, and defense by 12%, which is going to buff his attacks. Something else to note is in his core effects, he does have obtains 5% power upon landing a critical hit, which that doesn't really matter, but the increased penetration by 650 for 5 seconds upon landing a critical hit does matter. That stacks up to 3, so that's going to be 1850 penetration, so he's going to be weakening the defenses of the opponent whenever he's critical hitting. So crit hits are really important for this guy, not only to gain power gain, but also to weaken the opponent so he's able to do more damage. So the three sets that we're going to test are the Mr. Big set, we're going to test the Mad Tea Party set here, and we're going to test the Tekken set. Now with the Mr. Big set, well, let's go back in here. With the Mr. Big set, you're going to get this, all these cards offer increased defenses, every one of them. So he's going to get an extra 21% increase to defense. He's going to get the increased attack by 42% of defense, and then the heal, that doesn't matter. We just care about damage. This is just a damage comparison. When it comes to defensive characters, you should always run with defensive sets for the most part, because you want them, they'll be more well-rounded that way. As far as PvE content, it's one thing, but if you're playing them in PvP, you'd probably want to consider just putting these kind of cards on them because you're increasing their defenses, which is just amplifying what they already have a lot of, making them a whole lot tankier, a whole lot more difficult to take down. So that's something to always keep in mind. This is just a damage comparison between the set cards. That is it. I'm not saying, you know, whatever one ends up being has the highest damage is the best card set. I'm just saying that set just seems to do the most damage on Nameless. If you take a look at his stat details, his attack right now is at 23,000. The reason that attack is so high is because of that Mr. Big set, giving that 42% increase attack of defenses. And Nameless has that extra 12% increase in defense on his leadership. He has the Mr. Big set. He's a defensive character, so this really buffs his attack bigger than crap. His defenses is at 19,896. Crit rate's only at 10%, so keep that in mind. And he only has 131 critical damage. So when we slap on the Mad Tea Party set, let's go ahead and equip this card back on him. Whoops, I don't know why I do that. Oh, it's such a habit. The Mad Tea Party set's a little bit different. This thing's going to offer an extra 10% critical rate, and it's going to deal additional damage equal to 220% of attack upon landing a critical hit. So this set is optimal whenever he's doing critical hits, and that's a lot of extra damage. The other cards do offer attack, I think offer a little critical damage. And when you take a look at the stat details on this card set, now his attack's only at 15,600. His defenses are at 15,513, so he has less defense. He has 20% critical rate, so 10% critical, more critical rate, and he has a bit more critical damage, 143 versus 131% against the Mr. Big set. So, you know, the more critical rate you have, the more often you're going to be doing critical hits. And all a critical hit is your normal damage multiplied by your critical damage. So you're just going to be doing that much more damage. The higher your critical damage, the higher your critical rate, the more often you're going to critical hit and do more damage. Well, actually, the higher your critical rate, the more often you'll critical hit. And then with the higher critical damage, the more damage you'll do. Now, let's slap on that Tekken set. All right. So look at the stat details on this. Now the Tekken set, he has a 17,500 attack. And that's because all three of those Tekken cards offer extra attack. That's why his attack stats are so much better on this set versus that Mad Tea Party set. He also has the 15,513 defense, the same as the Mad Tea Party set, same as the Mad Tea Party set, giving the Tekken set gives an extra 10% critical rate, but the Tekken set also gives an extra 50% critical damage. So it's a pretty massive gain. This is a hell of a lot. So I'm really interested to see. Well, let me show you real quick here. On the Tekken set, all these cards offer extra attack by 6%. That's why his attack stats are so much better. There's that extra critical damage by 50% and the crit rate by 10%. So let's go ahead and slap on the Mr. Big set first here. And what we're going to do for the first run is we're just going to do one skill. We're just going to do Nameless's second skill. We're just going to do this second skill here, which increases attack by 45% of defenses for 8 seconds when using the skill. So this is really going to amplify the Mr. Big set, at least you would think, more than the other two sets. But that remains to be seen. We'll find out. So let's do this. We're just going to do one skill one time. And obviously it's going to depend on whether or not he critical hits as far as how much damage he does. We'll have to be paying attention for that, or looking for that. Alright, here we go. We'll just do that second skill, see how much damage he does. Alright, here we go. Okay, so we got down to almost below the 90 there, the 0 there. Okay. Now let's slap on that Mad Tea Party set. We lose. Oh, that sucks. It takes you all the way out there. Okay, now we'll put the Mad Tea Party set on him. And this set really depends on whether or not you're going to critical hit. So let's see. Alright, come on. Now we got right below that 0 on that 90 with the Mr. Big set. Okay. Well, I mean, just a little bit more damage, but not much. Just a little bit. Now let's slap that Tekken set on him. I didn't notice if he crit hit there or not. I didn't see it. He might have. So let's see. We'll put the Tekken set on him now. Alright, let's do it. Come on, come on, come on. So the Tekken set actually did worse than both the Mr. Big set and the Mad Tea Party set. Now that could be because maybe that Mad Tea Party set crit hit I really didn't notice. So let's do another test. Let's do another one. So we're going to slap that Mr. Big set back on Nameless. Oh, where are you at? And this time we're going to rotate through 3 skills and do a normal attack afterwards. So we'll start with the 1, then the 2, then the 3, and then we'll go into our normals after that. And we'll do one complete combo with the normal. Come on. Okay, so we got down just between the Yashiro and the 18 here, right in here. All right. And this is going to increase the chances of doing more critical hits as well. So you would think that the Mad Tea Party set and the Tekken set might do more damage. Might. Okay. Alright, here we go. Come on, come on, come on. One thing about the defensive set, the Mr. Big set, is you're not worrying about critical hitting as much. So here we go, especially with the Mad Tea Party set. So here we go. Wow, holy crap. We did one more full bar with the Mad Tea Party set. Whoa, one more bar with that set. That thing is blowing away the Mr. Big set. Holy crap, that was an insane difference. By the way, I run with the Mad Tea Party set all the time in Hell's Dungeon. All the time. Wow. Let's slap that Tekken set on him. Now I'm really interested to see if this set can beat the Mad Tea Party set. Wow. Come on, here we go. Come on. And like I said, it really depends on how many times you crit hit. This set did more damage than the Mr. Big set, but it did less damage than the Mad Tea Party set. Wow. Very interesting. Let's do this again. Let's do this test one more time. I'm actually curious if we're going to get the same results again. So we'll keep this set on Nameless, and we'll try this again. I'm really curious, because the crit hits are really what's making the difference, how often you're doing critical hits. But man, that Mad Tea Party set destroyed these other two sets in the first test there. So here we go. Yeah, he did less damage that time. So wow. Just below the 18th bar with the Tekken set. Okay. Interesting. This is interesting to me. Okay. Wow, it's actually quite surprising. Okay. So we'll slap on that Mad Tea Party set again. Let's see if we get below the 17th bar again. Come on. All right, here we go. Okay, so we did less damage that time, but still a little bit more damage than the Tekken set. So we definitely did some crit hits that first time for sure, because we didn't do as much damage. So we got almost to the middle of the 18th bar. Still did more damage than the Tekken set. So it's looking like the Mad Tea Party set for Nameless is looking like it's doing a little bit better than the Tekken set as far as just damage. Now let's throw on that Mr. Big set. Okay, come on, there we go. Wow. Okay, here we go. So we got down to the 19th bar. So, I mean, the Tekken set and the Mad Tea Party set definitely look like they're just dominating as far as damage for Nameless. Now, again, I'm not saying these are the best sets for Nameless. I'm just saying as far as PvE, as far as just solid damage, it's looking like those sets are just better. So maybe you'd rather run with the Mad Tea Party set instead of the Mr. Big set or the KS set. Of course, the KS set does give more defenses, so his damage would go up a little bit. I'd have to test that. I'm just not really sure at this point. The Kula Vacation set has less attack based on defenses, so the Mr. Big set would actually be better. So I think for PvE content, it just looks like the Mad Tea Party set or even the Tekken set is just better than the defensive set. But it doesn't mean that I think they're the best set overall for defensive characters, especially for Nameless. I still think that the Mr. Big set or the Kula Vacation set or the KS set is still numero uno because it's going to make him more well-rounded. It's going to synergize really well with him because he's a defensive character. And it's just going to make him a whole lot tankier, especially for PvP game modes. Maybe not quite as strong as far as his damage, but he's strong enough as he is that it's really not going to matter that much. You know, people like to run with that Tekken set because it gives extra power gain, which is based on how many critical hits you do. And the same with his core effect. He gets power gain from his doing critical hits as well. So that's the big reason people like to put that Tekken set on Nameless. But yeah, it's actually quite surprising, the results of today's video. It's pretty crazy. Wow. Let me know what y'all think about this testing. There's other things we could do. We could change leaderships. We could do all kinds of funky stuff to manipulate how these cards would affect our characters. Give me your feedback on what you think about it. And let me know what characters you've gotten, what cards you've gotten, how you're doing in the game. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one.